The late winter sky hung low over the city, heavy with clouds that threatened rain. Inside a small neighborhood café, warm light spilled across polished wood tables, and the quiet hum of conversation filled the air. By the window, a young woman sat in a wheelchair, her delicate hands resting in her lap. A single, modest birthday cake sat in front of her, white frosting, pastel sprinkles, and exactly 23 candles waiting to be lit. She hadn't even bothered to strike the match. Her name was Clara Whitfield. To anyone reading a newspaper or business magazine, the name was tied to power and prestige. Her father, Victor Whitfield, was one of the city's most influential CEOs. He owned skyscrapers, commanded boardrooms, and was the kind of man whose signature could change lives. But Clara knew better than anyone. Money didn't buy love, and it didn't buy presents. 3 years ago, a car accident had taken her ability to walk. The same day, she'd lost the pieces of herself that had once felt limitless. Her passion for hiking, spontaneous road trips, even just wandering through bookstores. Now, every movement came with calculated effort. And today, her birthday, came with the same bitter truth she'd learned since the accident. She was alone. The staff at her father's mansion had politely wished her well that morning, but no friends had called, and no family had arrived to celebrate. She had brought herself to this little cafe to feel less isolated. Instead, she felt like a misplaced puzzle piece in a world moving too fast for her. She stared at the cake for a long time, almost willing anyone, to notice her. And then the door opened. A tall man in his early 30s stepped inside, shaking droplets of rain from his jacket. He wore clothes that had seen better days. Faded jeans, a navy sweater with a loose thread at the cuff, but there was a quiet dignity in the way he carried himself. Trailing behind him was a little boy, maybe 6 years old, with tousled brown hair and bright eyes that seemed to notice everything. He clutched a small, slightly squished gift bag in one hand. The man ordered 2 hot chocolates and a muffin at the counter. As they waited, the boy looked around and spotted Clara. For a moment, his eyes stayed fixed on the unlit candles in front of her. Then, with the boldness only children have, he tugged on his father's sleeve and whispered something. The father glanced over. Their eyes met Clara's and his, and he hesitated. She looked away quickly, embarrassed to be caught in such a vulnerable moment. But a minute later, she heard footsteps approaching. "Hi," the little boy said, stopping right beside her table. His voice was soft but certain. "Are you having a birthday?" Clara blinked, caught off guard. Yes, I am." The boy's smile widened. "Then you shouldn't be alone. Can we sit with you?" Before she could answer, the father stepped forward, giving her an apologetic smile. "I hope we're not intruding. My son has strong opinions about birthdays." Clara hesitated, then gestured to the empty chairs. "Sure." They sat down, the boy placing his gift bag in front of her. "This is for you," he said proudly. "It's not wrapped very good, but I picked it." Inside was a small, plastic keychain shaped like a sunflower. Cheap, bright, and somehow perfect. "It's beautiful," Clara said, her voice catching in her throat. "Thank you." "Eli," the boy said, "and this is my dad, James." James offered a polite nod, his eyes warm and attentive. As they sipped their drinks, Clara found herself telling them more than she expected. About the accident, the changes in her life, and the people who had slowly drifted away. James didn't interrupt. He didn't offer hollow encouragement. He simply listened. And Eli, he didn't see a wheelchair. He saw someone with a birthday cake who hadn't smiled enough yet. "Can we light the candles?" he asked suddenly. Clara laughed softly. "Sure." James struck the match, shielding the tiny flame with his hand before touching it to each candle. 23 little lights flickered between them, casting a soft glow over Clara's face. Eli clapped. "Make a wish." Clara closed her eyes. For the first time in years, her wish wasn't for things to be like they used to be. It was for moments like this, unexpected, unplanned, and full of quiet kindness. When she blew out the candles, Eli cheered, and James smiled like he'd just witnessed something important. They cut the cake together, sharing slices over stories. James told her about his work as a carpenter, about how he raised Eli alone after losing his wife to illness 2 years ago. Clara found herself laughing, really laughing, for the first time in months. The rain outside slowed, then stopped. Through the cafe's window, the clouds began to break apart, revealing a soft, golden sunset. As the light shifted, Clara noticed something in herself, like the first hint of color returning to a faded painting. Hours slipped by unnoticed. Eventually, James glanced at his watch. "We should let you enjoy the rest of your evening," he said gently. Eli looked disappointed. "Can we see her again?" Clara smiled, surprised by her own answer. "I'd like that." James nodded. "Then it's a plan." When they stood to leave, Eli gave her a quick hug, his small arms warm and sincere. "Happy birthday, Clara," he whispered. After they were gone, Clara sat back in her chair, the sunflower keychain resting in her palm. It wasn't expensive. It wasn't fancy. But it meant more than any gift she had ever received. Because it came from someone who saw her, not her last name, not her chair, not her absence from the life she used to have. Just her. That night, as she wheeled herself out of the cafe and into the crisp evening air, Clara realized something. Sometimes the most life-changing moments don't come from the people you've known forever, but from the strangers who choose to sit down at your table when they could have walked away. Narration outro for video. If this story touched your heart, please take a second to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share it with someone who needs to remember that kindness still exists. And in the comments below, tell us, have you ever had a stranger's kindness change your day?